Good evening from Sacred Space. This is Tanya Aarons. It's the it's Thursday evening, the 16th of June 2022. Had to think about it a little bit there. So I'm making this video because I've had a lovely day. It was the fourth really sunny, lovely day in a row. And there was a very high, lovely vibration of human kindness and love energy today. So yesterday, Wednesday, I spent the day, I've been very ill. You can probably see by my purple lips that I've been very ill. And, I've had this asthma, bronchitis dragging on for, it's well over 6 months now. And I've commented a few times in the last 3 months that I feel like I'm dying. And, my friends and family and even my psychiatrist are so used to me using dark Gothic terminology and have gallows dark maudlin sense of humour. They haven't really been taking me too seriously at my I'm dying thing. And I've got to the stage where I'm a bit sick of it myself. It's a long, slow, protracted death, 57 years, just over 57 years of dying. It's burdensome. So anyway, yesterday I woke up and the last few weeks or month really, I've been feeling very dizzy and lightheaded, and I've sort of got a funny taste in my mouth all the time, and I just feel weak and unwell. And at one point I even wondered if I had COVID, but I know I haven't had COVID because my respiratory health is so poor with my lungs. I'm quite certain if I got COVID, I'd have very high fevers and I'd be really ill, right? So I don't think I had COVID, but I was so worried about the thought that maybe I might at some stage get COVID. I better get the rat tests that I don't believe in and didn't want to subscribe to. Because there's a lot of this COVID epoch I have not been compliant with because it's just too awful, all of it. But I thought, well, all right, it won't hurt to have the rat tests handy in the house. And then if I should get some dreadful flu or cold that I think is unusual, I can take the rat tests and at least know if I've got, hopefully know, because we don't know how accurate they are, if I've got COVID or not. So I did that earlier in the week. I think it was, it might have been last week. I went and got I don't have to buy them because I'm a disability pensioner, so I get them for free. But I went down the chemist and I got the rat tests. And they said, you won't be able to get them after July, which I think's weird because COVID hasn't gone away and everyone's still paranoid about COVID. And now you can't get any more testing. So this is what I mean. Things about it just don't add up. But anyway, I said, whatever, I'll get them, whatever you've got here, whatever you can give me. She gave me 5 tests and took it home. I didn't end up taking a test because when I read the instructions, it said, if you've already, got over the worst of your cold, it might not show up and blah, blah, blah. And I didn't really have a cold anymore, and I only got the symptoms of the cold 2 weeks ago after I had the cancer cut out, the first cancer on my back cut out. And I came out with sort of fevers and feeling really off. And I'm sure that was just a reaction to the anaesthetic and the massive big scar across my back, right? It's like 4 inches long. And I was really quite ill. And of course I convinced myself that it was COVID, but then I decided it wasn't. And I honestly don't think it was COVID. But I was very ill from that incision and major stitches. So there was that. So then I had to go back last Wednesday, have another one cut out. So, you know, tomorrow morning, Friday morning, the 17th, I've got to go back and get, well, I asked the doctor, it's not a cancer, but there's a cyst. And I asked him if he would cut that out because it's been annoying me for about 2 years, this lump in my back. So he said he would. But then last week also, in addition to another big scar, I asked him to do a biopsy on another cancer on the shoulder. So he hadn't noticed it actually, which is weird because it's right next to the massive big scar of the other one he dug out. But anyway, so he took a biopsy. So I don't know for sure, but I'm fully expecting that tomorrow he'll say, yes, that has to be cut out. In which case I'll have a big splice on my shoulder and another splice in the middle of my back from the cyst. So I'm dreading it because I have not felt well with all this cutting and slicing, you know, like. And I realise it's necessary because, you know, my psychiatrist, one of his employees' husbands is much younger than me, only 35, and he's just been diagnosed terminal with skin cancer, which is how I came to be subjecting myself to this ordeal because my doctor in our debrief said, Tanya, you better do something, check on your skin cancers. And I said, well, I've avoided all skin doctors after the last one I went to see was predatory and sexually inappropriate and just fucking awful. I said I didn't go near one for 2 years, and I know that's risk-taking because I knew I had cancers on my back. I knew they were there and that they were problematic potential risks. So anyway, so that was 3 weeks ago now that I've been on that rat wheel every week getting a cancer chopped out, right? And oh my God, with my lungs being poorly and the constant diarrhea and the constant fatigue and then all these big massive scars with stitches in my back. Like they took the stitches, the new skin doctor who's, you know, very, very efficient, too efficient. You feel like you're in a supermarket production line like a piece of meat on a meat hook. I mean, he's lovely, he's not creepy, don't get me wrong, he's not a predator like the other ones were, but he's just in and out, get your clothes on, get out, and you sort of feel kind of like discombobulated and still a bit violated, even though it's not a sexual violation. It's just like, you know, you're just a body, you know, get in, get out. But look, he's been very professional and he hasn't been, you know, obscene and creepy, so I'm grateful for that. So anyway, tomorrow I have to see him again, potentially have 2 more cuts to my back. And, you know, it's starting to feel like I'm in a horror movie. You know those horror movies where you see those monks, I think they were of the Jesuit order or one of those weird Catholic orders where they used to self-flagellate with whips on their back. That's what my back looks like. It looks like some mad monk has gone to town on themselves. And the difference is I've gone to town on myself. I've had to do it, you know, medically, have a skin doctor remove all these cancers and big massive scars on my back. I have gone to town on myself, but it's like the whole idea behind it is that it'll save me from dying a horrible death of advanced skin cancer, right? And let's face it, my mother's half-brother died of that at, I think he was 97, so he was elderly anyway, but even so, it's a horrible death. We're trying to avoid the Tanya, the sweetheart, at 57 years of age, is trying to avoid an undignified, horrible death, right? And it's insane because I don't have any say in the matter. I mean, we really don't. We don't know what our death is going to be like. Let's be real here. But anyway, my psychiatrist, who is very supportive and protective and nurturing of me and is a very, very good man, he was so frightened that I might end up dying of skin cancer that he sent me off, you know, on this this groove to have all the skin cancers removed, and it's the right thing to do. But I don't feel particularly grateful because I'm in agony, and it's been awful, mentally and physically. Anyway, so what happened? What happened with all this? I've been feeling very weak and dizzy and really lightheaded, and I get low blood pressure. I know that it was diagnosed a couple of years ago by my young GP, who treats me like I'm a lingerer. I don't even want to go to her anymore, quite frankly. I don't trust most doctors anymore. Let's be real here. But anyway, I know I have low blood pressure. And clearly it's getting worse because I just stumble around like a drunk person, really dizzy all the time. So there was that. So I had my debrief yesterday, my 2-weekly debrief with my psychiatrist. He says, "How are you going, Tanya?" I said, "Actually, I'm very ill, doctor." I said, "I'm very, very ill." He said, "You've been saying this for 3 or 4 months." I said, "It's been over 6 months that I've been feeling very ill." He says, "What's wrong? What's actually happening?" I said, "Well, I've got this terrible taste in my mouth. It's all metallic-y." And I said, "I'm weak." And I said, "And I'm fatigued." I said, "That's nothing unusual, But I said, "I'm dizzy and lightheaded all the time. I can hardly walk some days. I'm just staggering, holding on to the walls like a drunk person or someone at sea." I don't have earache. I don't have any earache or any pain in my ears. But it does feel like a balance thing. Anyway, so there's that. So my psychiatrist, who had sent me off to get all my skin cancers fixed. What are you doing, Vodie? Are you okay? Acting weird. He said to me yesterday, he said, "It's your teeth." He said, "When you don't feel well and you have that terrible taste in your mouth, it's systemic. I'm sure it's your teeth." And I've had a lifetime of problems with my teeth. I got my first, this is an implant, right? And I lost that tooth when I was 13 years old to a terrible abscess. It was the most agonizing thing that I had ever gone through up until that point in my life. And I'd already had quite a few surgeries. I had a surgery when I was 3, removing a cancer from my lip, right? So that abscess was excruciating. And I remember it well, even after all these years. So my psychiatrist said, "It's your teeth." And of course I immediately freaked out because I had found a few days ago what feels like a big cavity in the side of this molar. I said to him, "You know what? I don't have any pain in my teeth, but I've been getting a bit of a twingy pain in another tooth here." I said, "And there's a slight crack in it. It feels funny." I said, "I think you're right. I think it's my teeth." He says, "You better make an appointment ASAP and get yourself to the emergency dentist, Tanya, because you're systemically ill and it's gone on for too long, and you need to fix the problem, or you really will die." So I said to him, "Well, the last time I saw the public dentist," I said, I'd changed over to Hurston on the north side, the teaching hospital for dentists. I said they fobbed me off and said they don't want to aspirate, and there's a screw missing out of this implant. They didn't do it today either. It's unbelievable when you think about it. Unfucking believable. Anyway, but they're scared of aspirating because of COVID. It's just bullshit, really. It's just laziness. Anyway, I didn't drive at home today because I'm too ill and I don't care anymore. So yesterday afternoon, I get off the phone to my psych. I was actually visiting my friend Lynn. I spent the day with her, feeling very weak and ill all day. So I get off the phone to my psychiatrist, who freaked out. He genuinely worries about me. And he's a lovely man. And I tried to ring the public dentist to get through, and they put me in a call back, and they called me back, and I said, I can't get through to Hurston because when I give my postcode, the system won't recognise it because I'm on the south side of Brisbane. I said, but I don't want to go to the Metro South ever again. I'm done. I'm done with that hospital down there. The lady said, okay, what you do is when you ring up on the computer system again, she said, say that you live at 4,000. I said, but that's a lie. She says, try not to laugh, right, because I'm very concrete at times about things. Fixture of my complex PTSD. She says, it's not really a lie, but you've got to trick the system into thinking that you live on that side of town or they won't put you through. To me, this is the ultimate in insanity, but she said to me, no, it's how it is all across Queensland. It's one computerised system and you've got to fudge it. I said, all right, I'll do that. So by this time it's 3:30 in the afternoon, so I ring the other line, which is the same number, tell it that I'm at 4,000 and I'm on hold. And I was on hold, and I was on hold, and this is all afternoon yesterday, right? From the time I got off the phone to my psychiatrist at 2:30, I was on hold until I gave up at 4 because I knew they close at 4. So an hour and a half. Anyhow, trying to get through to this Metro North dentist. Couldn't get through. Didn't ask for a call back because I thought there's no point, they won't call me back because they're closing soon. I thought I'll ring tomorrow, this morning. So this morning I ring. I think I started ringing. I was on the phone from 10 o'clock because my cleaning lady that comes, I get help from the government now, comes to clean. She arrives at 10. So just prior to her arriving that I was on the phone. I was on the phone for an hour and a half. Finally, a human answers. And I said, hello, how are you? She said, oh, I'm okay, thank you. How are you? I said, I really need to see a dentist. I'm very ill. And my psychiatrist told me yesterday it's systemic and I need to see someone urgently. Okay. And I said, I was starting to feel like I'm the only human on the planet left alive. I've been on this phone for 2 days trying to get through. No one answered until you did. I said, I hope you're alive down there. And she said, I think we're alive. I hope so. I hope you're not the only one left on the planet. And I was like, it's starting to feel a bit surreal. And she's like, try not to laugh, but it's not funny, It's not funny. It's not funny. It's like being in a David Lynch film, Oh my goodness. Anyway, but she was a very kind lady. She says, as soon as I said my psychiatrist insists I see someone urgently and I'm very ill, blah, blah, blah. I have an appointment available today. Now, by this time, it's like 11:30. And I'm like, today? It's highly unusual to get through so quickly. An actual appointment, right? I said, well, my cleaning lady leaves at 12. And she said, the appointment's at 1:20. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's doable. I can do that. I said, okay, I'll be there. So you have to get here, 15 minutes early and blah-de-blah-de-blah and blah, blah, blah. And got to wear your mask and blah, blah, blah. And no, not a problem. And I'm thinking to myself, fuck, how am I going to drive there when I'm so dizzy and lightheaded? And I thought, well, I just have to do it. I've driven around in worse health states than this, And many years ago when I was zonked out on my skull on heavy psych meds, I used to drive around like, driving's automatic. It's almost automatic once been driving for as long as I have anyway. But I was a bit worried, to be honest. That's how unwell I am. So anyway, my lovely little cleaning lady finished and she left, and I sort of quickly brought the bird back inside and settled the dog with a schmacko, and off I went, got in the car, got my mask, drove to the hospital, was driving around trying to get a park around that dental hospital up at Hurston now, starting to freak out because I couldn't find a park. I left on plenty of time. I left early. So I'm thinking, dear parking fairy, please help me find a park. And as fate would have it, when I drove down the hill and sort of went down this other road that leads away from the hospital, or leads sort of going back towards the city kind of thing, there was plenty of parking. But you had to pay. There's no free parking. So I thought, it doesn't matter if I pay as long as I have my car parked. So I get out and I'm trying to pay in those stupid machines. Anyway, I booked up for 3.5 hours, which was more than I needed, but I thought in case, they have to send me for x-rays, or in case they have to extract the tooth or whatever, I better allow plenty of time, because of my anxiety issues. I allowed plenty of time, so I paid over $10 for the parking, but that's neither here nor there. It was annoying, but I can afford it. So I start walking up the hill, and I'm feeling so dizzy and weak walking up that hill to the hospital, to the dentist side of things. So anyway, I get up there and was sitting and waiting. I was early. As it happened, they didn't get me to sign any paperwork. That's fine. Sitting there, had a chat to another lady beside me. People were very friendly and kind, and the staff were very friendly. I liked that dental hospital much better than the one at QE2, which is just, I used to call it the murder house. The staff were cold and nasty and condescending and looked at you like you're some sort of scum. I'm done being treated like that. So anyway, I have to say, the staff here at the RBH at Hurston, the oral health there, lovely. But, so I get called in for my appointment, and the doctor was lovely, a Chinese doctor. Her name was Dr. Tan, very, very polite, very, very, very kind, very polite. She said to me, so what's going on? And I said, I'm having a lot of health issues. I think it's my teeth. I found a hole in this molar on the side. She puts me up on a chair. Next thing I know, the chair's massaging me. So I said, the nurse was very kind to me. I said, I think I'm going psychotic. I said, is this chair a massaging chair? And behind me, they were laughing. They went, yeah, no, it massages you. I said, I thought I was going crazy. I said, oh, thank God. I said, I couldn't understand. I was being pummeled in the back. But anyway, it was lovely. Don't get me wrong, but it was just astonishing because I didn't expect that, So anyway, the Dr. Tan, she looks into my mouth, but she didn't actually poke around where that hole is, right? So I'm thinking, oh Jesus, here we go. But she tapped on everything, and she said, your teeth are very clean. And she says, keep doing what you're doing something right. And I went, I only brush them once a day. She went, she's like, you have to brush them twice a day. And I'm laughing. I said, I haven't had proper dental treatment for 2 years. I said, how is it that they're clean? I said, because I have reflux and I'm constantly, spewing out acid. I said, I expected them to be quite damp, quite covered in acid and quite messy. She said, no, they're actually really quite good. So that was weird and surprising. So she says she was worried about this tooth on this side, that when she poked around on it, it did hurt a little bit. Oh, that's great. Here I am worried about this tooth that doesn't hurt at all, and it was another tooth that hurts. But I do that. I've always been like that. Get referred pain. So she said, I'm worried about that. She said, I'm sending you for a radiography x-ray of your whole jaw, which is a good thing really, because I don't know what state I'm in with my teeth. It's been so long. So they send me upstairs. The nurse walks with me and shows me where to go, which was very kind. And I got upstairs to where the x-ray places. They were very kind too and lovely. And there was a family, like a young couple with a child, and they were there supporting their mum, And I thought, how lovely, a whole family goes support their mum. I have no support, none. So I won't be upset about that, because I'm used to that, and I'm a big girl, and I can get myself there, even dizzy driving. Like, really, it's too much, but what choice do I have? But anyway, I commented to the young couple, because they were, how young couples in love, they were probably in their early 20s. They were just kids, really. They were smacking each other with their phone, being playful and tapping each other. And they were just like two kids, and their little girl was obsessed with her little computer. She was just doing her own little world, But the parents were playing, tapping, and kidding around. And so I commented, I said, I started to giggle, and they looked at me giggling. And I said, I'm giggling. I said, I'm not laughing at you. I said, but I'm giggling. I said, because you're so cute, the two of you. And I said, I was young once too. I remember what it was like. I'm thinking, no, I don't. My husband was like so awful. I didn't even really have a romance like that where you could just kid around and be sweet with each other. I was cheated even of that. But anyway, I thought that they don't need to hear that, I said, you're just so sweet, the two of you. I was young once, I remember. And I thought, that's a lie. That's a big lie on my part. There's nothing to frickin' remember. I didn't even have fun with that man. The whole thing was a nightmare. Anyway, but I walked off, and even the receptionist was giggling and laughing. She said, they are cute, aren't they? And I went, yeah, they are. A cute couple, And they were a young couple. They were happy. And I thought it's nice to acknowledge to people when they're cute and they're happy, and, let them know that you notice, because life's so awful now. It's like, grab whatever joy you can grab and hold on to it like a life raft, right? Anyway, I thought it was delightful. So anyway, I go in to have the x-ray, and of course they make me take my nose piercing, it had to come out, which I resent that when your schnozzy has to come, because it's a pain in the ass to get it out. But never mind, the x-ray goes right around your jaw, and they don't want chunks of metal, like I get it. So I, with great difficulty, removed my nose ring, took my earrings out, had the x-ray, which was bloody uncomfortable. It was a young Indian man, very nice looking young Indian man, was a radiographer, and he was good, did a good job. And everyone was so kind and sweet. I thought, it's a breath of fresh air compared to that other hospital. I don't understand how it can be so different. I really don't. Maybe because they're a training hospital and teach dentists that they have to present this more, we actually care about people, cultivate this demeanour, and by the time they get jobs in the other public hospitals throughout Queensland, they no longer give a fuck. I don't know what happens, but it's weird, right? It's surreal. But anyway, I thought, no, I'm going to enjoy being here. Everyone's being sweet and kind and super nice. So I go back down, gather my stuff, put my mask back on, go back down to the dentist. And she says, there's nothing wrong with your teeth. What? So I'm like, how can this be, doctor? I said, I don't have tooth pain, but I'm genuinely really weak and fatigued and dizzy all the time. There has to be something wrong with my teeth. I said, I'm not a malingerer. She said, oh, but, and they always focus on the implant, right? Because that's 10 grand's worth. Like, they immediately think, how could she afford that? They don't realise I used my tiny, small inheritance that I had to fight like an animal for 2.5 years with the most monstrous bastards to fix my two front teeth, right? Because I promised myself with my small inheritance that I was going to have decent looking teeth. And there's nothing to be ashamed of in that. Like, I deserve to have nice teeth. But they always obsess over, oh, you have an implant. In other words, why are you in the dental public system when you could afford 10 grand on teeth, right? It's just awful. So she's, oh yeah, and they all do it. And I said, yes, it is an implant. That's correct. I don't even justify it now. It's like, fuck off. Anyway, she says, no, the implant's fine. Everything's fine, which is good to know because sometimes you can get, infections up in the jaw and, it worries me. Maybe that's what's wrong, She said, no, that's fine. She said, the root canal, she said, it's come up with a bit of a shadow. She said, but that's scar tissue. And I nodded because she says, when did you get that done? I said, I honestly can't remember. I said, they pulled one that was root canal next to it. There was nothing wrong with it when they pulled it. It was just root canal. There was actually nothing wrong with it. They ripped it out. She looked at me. She said, oh, you came from QE2. I said, yes, I'll never go back. I said, they're unprofessional. I said, I know it's terrible to tell a professional dentist that her colleagues at another hospital are unprofessional. I said, that's the truth. I said, they're utterly monstrous there. She's looking at me like this, I said, I had a lovely Indian dentist there for quite some few years, about 5 years. I said she was excellent. I said they got rid of her. And she's looking at me like this. And I said, after she left, I said, nothing but monstrosities are there. So I won't go back. She nodded, So she says, I think we'll take another x-ray of the root canal. And she said, because of the shadow, she said, sometimes it doesn't show up on the radiography screen that they do. It goes right around your head, I said, I nodded. I don't care, because I just don't care anymore. And I said, look, doctor, I trust you that you're a professional, that you know what you're doing. If you tell me there's nothing wrong, then there's nothing wrong. How can I argue with a professional? Normally I would, right? But I'm too tired and I'm too sick and I don't fucking care. So she says to me, she was don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining about this one. She was very, very respectful, very kind. But she at no stage had a proper look at that tooth, which I said has a hole in it, because I can feel it. It's got a hole in it. It didn't come up on the x-ray, which I find bizarre. Because I could see, I looked at the thing too, She said, oh, no, it's fine. Okay, well, if it's fine, it's fine. Who am I to say? I'm just the patient, right? So anyway, but she did, after I insisted that we need to check still, I said, I still can't believe that there's nothing wrong with my teeth after 2 years of not being treated. I said, I have implosive teeth. And then she went, because that's true, And I said to her, why I have an implant? I said, I lost that tooth when I was 13 years old to a terrible, excruciating abscess. I said, I've had problems with my teeth since childhood. I said, as you can see, there's gaps that are missing now in later life. I've lost quite a few. I said, I cannot afford to muck around, and leave my teeth. I said, if I had had pain, I would have been here months ago. I said, but I haven't had pain. So she's sort of, okay, and she's typing madly. And then she said, okay, we'll do another x-ray on that root canal just to check. And I thought, well, I'm satisfied with that because we've already just done, the expensive survey and another x-ray, whatever. So she gets me back in the chair. She was very gentle and kind. She said, it's going to hurt. X-rays always hurt because it digs right down, into your gum. Got me to hold it. Took a picture. Showed it to me. She said, come here beside me. I want to show you. I said, yes, doctor, I'm getting more and more submissive as time goes on because it's like I just want this agony, this mental torture and this physical malaise to end. But honestly, I'll be real with you, I don't think it's going to end. I think I am actually dying. It might not be from my teeth, but that was the primary concern. I said, we need to eliminate that it's not my teeth and some other issue. We all know what the issue is. It's my lungs. But anyway, hello. So we look at the x-ray together and she said, as you can see, there's no shadow there now in this film. It's clear, completely clear. She said it's perfectly fine. So you know what, I'm relieved to hear that because when the root canal have a running infection, that gives you like a form of sepsis and makes you very ill. So whatever's wrong with me is not my teeth, according to this dentist. And I wasn't real satisfied with that because I just feel so dreadful, but that's not her problem, that's my problem. So she says to me, I'll book you in for a proper checkup. Well, hallelujah, I needed a proper checkup like 2 years ago. So anyway, I said to her, okay, I'm grateful and happy with that, doctor. And the nurse was kind of looking at me, and I went, no, I'm really grateful. I'm grateful that you saw me today. I said, because I feel so dreadful. I was convinced that it was something wrong with my teeth. I said, but now we know it's not the teeth, then process of elimination, I can work out what is actually wrong with me. She said, do you have heart problems? Of course, they immediately ask that now because most people have been vaccinated and they're having heart problems. I haven't been vaccinated, but that doesn't mean I can't still have heart problems, but I'm just thinking, surely it won't be my heart, right? Denial is a long river in Africa. But I'm starting to worry if it's actually my heart. I said to her, well, I was diagnosed 2 years ago with low blood pressure. She said, oh, high blood pressure. I said, no, oddly, low blood pressure. She's typing all the phone. She's looking at me funny because I'm fat, you assume it'd be high blood pressure, right? So anyway, and I know the dizziness and the wooziness is probably low blood pressure, probably. Anyway, she says, have you been to your GP? I said, no, I don't trust her. So she looks at me. What's the truth? I don't trust any of them. I trust my psychiatrist because he's a truly good man and freaks out when I tell him I think I'm dying and that I think I'm not being taken seriously in the system because he's known historically that I haven't been taken seriously and he's known the intense brutalisation, that the surgeries I had that was so cruel and sadistic and brutal. You wouldn't treat a dog like that. I had to go to war on entire hospitals. So he knows my history. So he knows when I say something's not right, that it's not right. But he knows I don't have any say in the matter. No one does. Not even other doctors have a say in the matter anymore. That's what's alarming, right? So anyway, this Dr. Tan, this lovely dentist at Hurston, said to me, well, how do you feel about, I'll book you in for a proper checkup. How do you feel about a student treating you? Oh, I realise it's a teaching hospital. So I said to her, well, I do have complicated health issues, with my teeth. They're all related to my complex PTSD and my complicated health issues associated with that, blah, blah, blah. I said, but she said, well, a student is supervised. And I mean, they have to learn, don't they? I said to her, well, my preference is to see a qualified dentist, but, if it's just a check-up and, I don't have a problem with it being a student. So she said, okay, hand this form in, we'll book you in. So I left. I handed the form in, they just took it and said, yes, we'll be in touch. Please God, they'll be in touch. Please God, I get treated properly. But look, I have more faith in this hospital because they're actually kinder and they speak nicely to you, and it's a different vibe, man. So anyway, so I left there, but when I walked out of there and I was about to go to my car, do you know, I had to sit down. I was so dizzy, and I thought maybe I should take myself to go round the front where the emergency department is, because it's a women's hospital actually, and just sit in sit in A&E, and just ask politely if someone would take my blood pressure, because I felt weak. Oh shit! I thought, no, it's because I've had to push myself to go out to the dentist and drive around feeling ill and push myself when I'm already feeling ill, right? So I thought, that's all it is my body's like wanting to collapse now because of literally flogging a dead fish. Anyway, so I get in the car. Now the other thing I forgot to tell you was driving to the hospital, and I was feeling really distressed and worried and not psychotic, but bordering on feeling a bit woozy, driving there. I did affirmations because I find them helpful. They're like mindfulness. And so I was driving. On the way there, I was saying to myself, I am healthy, I am powerful, I am strong, I am respected, I am valued, I'm loved. I mean, professionally and unconditionally loved, not in loveness loved. But, and I was like, and anyway, so I come out of there and I thought, I had actually a really good experience at this clinic. Much better than QE2 or years ago when I used to go to South Brisbane, So I thought, no, they are much better here, but they're reluctant to drill and look into your actual teeth, because of the aspirations. So anyway, be that as it may. So I came out and I thought, apart from having x-rays and her tapping on them all, nothing really was actually done, right? So I was a little bit annoyed about that. Bearing in mind that it took me 2 days to even get the appointment, or a day and a half. So anywho, so I had my little funny turn when I came out, sat down, gathered my breath, gathered my wits, walked down the grassy hill to my car. I got in the car and I thought, I haven't eaten since, 9 o'clock this morning. I had a couple of small pieces of crusty toast. And mind you, I ate well the night before. I had lots and lots of pizza at Lynn's house, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I gobbled it all down. It was delicious. So I thought, well, I'm probably hungry. And I thought, well, I've got dinner at home because I've got leftover cooked chicken, drumsticks and vegetables from the night before. So I'll have that for dinner, for lunch, or dinner tonight. And but I thought, I deserve a treat for dragging my sorry, fat, dizzy, lightheaded, weak, foolish arse around. I mean, you have to, it's just, anyway. And I thought tomorrow morning I have to go and have 2 more lacerations, either 1 more or 2 more, depending. He might stretch it out till next week. Lacerations to my back, and I'm going to be miserable as sin from that again. I thought, so bugger it. I was actually driving home, and I thought, no, bugger it. I'll stop at Kentucky Fried Chicken, and I thought I'll get a Zinger Burger meal. I just felt like something, because I've got this permanent yucky taste in my mouth. I can't shake it. It's horrible. The dentist has said I need to rinse my mouth with bicarb of soda and get rid of that taste. I haven't done it yet. I must do it because I feel. And she said I got dry mouth. She said that'll be from the medication. And I thought, well, the only thing medication apart from vitamins I'm taking is the Ventolin and Serotype, so that must be causing this. But I've never had that before with Ventolin and Serotype, this terrible taste. So anywho, so I thought, well, I haven't eaten, and I'm a Viking berserker queen goddess, and I fight on a full tummy, you know. So here we go. I'll feed myself, and I'll settle myself down, and I'll continue the drive home. Right. So I stop in at KFC, and I order my Zinger Burger meal, and there was a beautiful young Indian girl serving. She was so sweet and polite, and I was standing thinking, everyone today that I've met and come across waiting at the dentist and the dental nurse, and you know, the x-ray department, and the people in the x-ray, and I said, oh, you're so sweet with each other. They were being playful, the young couple. It was this beautiful love energy, you know, and it was just lovely. And I thought, you know what? On a day when I feel like I am a walking corpse bride, that I'm just like death warmed up, and I feel so dizzy and weak and vulnerable, and I've had to drag myself around because I was really thinking I was going to lose that tooth today. Probably it's just as well I didn't, because I'm so weak. I would have been in a state, I don't know how I would have driven home. But so in a way, the universe has me in perfect protection. I'll be grateful for that. So I look at this young Indian girl serving, and anyway, the guy that was working with her started snapping her because she went to grab my meal and she had the wrong meal or something, got something wrong. Young girl, you know. And he's snapping at her, and I'm just like, oh, thank you so much. I said to her, I was really sweet to her, because I had a chicken shop, and, you know, I could be a bit snappy with my staff too, but I also know what it's like when you're learning in a job and people treat you like garbage, and, you know, it's awful. So I said, thank you so much. She was like, oh, thank you. She was a sweet girl. So anyway, I go out, and I thought, well, I'll eat. Was very busy in the sunny side where all the seats were, so I'll go and I'll sit in these tables on the side that were in the shade. And I thought, well, that'll keep me out of the sun, stop me from getting sun cancer. And there was no one sitting there, so I thought, I'll just sit on my own quietly and feed like a berserker Viking warrior queen, right? That's what I'm like when I'm hungry and in survival mode. So I'm sitting down, and this younger man, he's probably in his late 30s, early 40s. He was, you know, reasonably good-looking man. He had long hair and a pony, sort of half a man bun, half ponytail, full back. And he's walking up the pathway, because you walk up that way to go, you know, to order and pay, you know. And he just looked at me with a lovely smile. I'm thinking, oh, well, that's lovely. Nice-looking younger man just smiled at me. So I smiled back, you know. And he keeps going, and I keep eating. I'm hoeing into my food. Next thing I know, there's a man sitting behind me, but just out of my line of vision. But do you know what? I did not turn and look at that man, but I knew it was the man who had smiled at me without even looking. And because of my trauma issues and because of my horrific experiences with men and the bitter heartache and disappointments with the last man that I was in love with and all that ghastly fucking horror, that even though I've been very unwell, and I even said to myself the other day, I was like, you need to have sex again, Tanya. You need to embrace the life force. You need to rattle that chi. You need to jiggle all your meridians. You need to get back into the stream of life again. Yes, I actually said that, dear goddess. Anyway, this quite nice younger man, sat just beside me at the next table. And I don't know what he was doing. I don't know if he ate or what, because I was sitting there hoeing into my food, feeling self-conscious. So I went into my bag. He watched what I did, and I pulled out my bag. I put my earrings back in. I put my nose ring back in. And I fumbled with my nose ring because I didn't have a mirror and I couldn't see to click it back into place. So then I was feeling like I'm under observation and I'm self-conscious about my metal in my face. But I thought when he saw me walking up, I didn't have earrings or nose ring, right? And look, I just would have looked like a, ordinary middle-aged woman. And then he comes out and sits near me and I'm putting all my hardware back in my face. Anyway, it's fun. It's funny when you think about it, right? So anyway, halfway through my meal, I ordered a lot of food because I'm like that. I suddenly thought, I don't have a spoon to eat my gravy and potato. And there's this man behind me watching me. And I'm eating like a Viking warrior goddess queen on a berserker raid. Not exactly elegantly. And I'm feeling self-conscious. And how am I going to eat my potato and gravy? So I was shoving chips in it and eating it like that. And then I thought, I've got cutlery in my car. I bought special stainless steel rainbow coloured cutlery so that I can get takeaway and eat in the car usually, There's no cutlery, I've got my own. So I was like, why am I struggling here like an idiot when I've got cutlery in my car? And also, I don't feel comfortable being watched by some random male I don't know. And also, I don't feel well. I'm better off to go home and finish my meal at home, thought I. So I stand up, I throw my bag over my shoulder. My bag looks terribly povo because the strap, it's one of those, fake leather ones. It was a beautiful bag, but it's worn out now. It's a couple of years old. Karen bought it for me, actually. And the strap's all unravelling and, the leather, plastic leather's falling off. It looks really pov. I thought, oh, dear God, this guy's looking at me. He's probably thinking, oh, God, look at her bag. It's all falling apart. She looks like an old bag. And I smiled at her. This is how my mind works, right? Probably didn't think that at all, but that's how my mind works. So I was feeling really self-conscious. So anyway, I packed up my food, put it back in the brown paper bag, flicked a piece of lettuce that I dropped for the birds. I say don't feed the birds, but it was like 2 tiny little pieces of lettuce. And I figure it's organic, it'll rot down in the garden, like it's not rubbish because it's food, something will eat it. And but I took the rest with me because I was going to take it home to eat anyway. So I walked to my car, jump in the car, and I breathe a little bit because I'm feeling stressed from this whole weirdness of the whole day. Even though it was a lovely day, it was weird. And I turned my car on because I decided to eat at home, even though I had my cutlery in the car. I thought, oh, I'm just done, I want to go home. And I go to reverse out, And there's cars everywhere. It was like a dodgems. It was mad. It's a very small car park there at Kangaroo Point. So I'm trying to back my car out. And then I'm thinking, breathe, Tanya. It's not that hard. You just have to wait, like everything in life. So I'm breathing. And the man that had smiled at me, and I'm pretty sure it was him that was sitting beside me, probably hoping that I'd acknowledge him and have a chat, right? But I'm so fucking weird now. It's not him, it's me. It really is me. It's a shame, because I used to love to chat to people and be more, even men. I used to be a lot more friendly, and I used to bring men home at one time between 2010 to 2015. And, I used to be normal, and now I'm like, feel harassed and intimidated just by having someone sit near me, and he wasn't doing anything, he wasn't engaging. Anyway, it was that younger guy, and he's standing there, and he looks at me all excited because he's probably thinking, oh, because to him, being a man, it would have been funny, right? So he's thinking, I was just trying to get away, and here I am, with the god. Anyway, so he's waving to me. He's like, smiles again, nice smile, not creepy. And then he's like, telling me that it was safe to back out, which I appreciated because I couldn't see, and there was people trying to walk behind me, and it's like being in the dodgems and a frickin' carnivale. So anyway, but I thought about it. I'm the one that felt uncomfortable and weird. I could have had a nice chat with him and been normal that whole time. Could have said, how's your day? Could have been nice. And I thought, it's not the people that are weird and inappropriate and, threatening. It's me reacting that way. And I thought, you know what, Tanya? You've been manifesting for months, doing self-hypnosis audios on YouTube, manifesting a nice partner, and when someone's kind and nice, and he was probably not even looking at being, racing me off for sex or being a partner. He's probably just being nice, smiling, being normal, being friendly. There was no harm in it at all, right? There really wasn't. So I thought, you have to learn to be kind to people and open again and not be so fucking paranoid about the male gender that every male you meet wants to use, abuse, denigrate, violate, rape, torture you. You've got to stop that because it's not like that. It's not. Sometimes, many times in my life, it has been like that. But this guy didn't do anything wrong. He just sat quietly, and when I packed up and got in my car, he left too. It was completely harmless, right? Maybe not completely, but by and large it was harmless. So he's like letting me know to move out with my car. So I back out with the car, and he's looking at me. Anyway, I wound my window down, and he's like freaking out by the stage because now I'm engaging with him. So I wound my window down, and I said, oh yeah, thank you. I said, it's like a madhouse today, isn't it? Meaning the car park. And then he said, yeah. He said, it's been a really weird day, he says to me. And I'm looking at him because I'm thinking too, although it was a lovely energy at the hospital, people were kind, he was kind, you know. That's what was weird though. It was like everybody was in love, or this high, like, euphoric type vibration, right? Like a higher octave. And that's what felt weird because for months and months, people have been frightened, threatening, hostile, aggro, intimidating, depressive, oppressive, suppressive, acopic, jangled, wrangled, strangled, and suddenly they're all like, oh! It was like being like being in a horror movie, but when they have that, the horror movie, the point in a horror movie where they give you just that little bit of respite, like even in the music it changes tempo and structure, and if you've gone from your heart palpitating, like feeling like you're going to die at any moment, to suddenly it's like this. Oh, here's a note from our sponsor, and some is light comic relief or a romantic kind of interplay just to give you a respite, and then the fucking horror builds again. It felt like that today. I've identified it. That's what it felt like. Anyway, I knew that today or the next few days are going to be very spiritual, like on another octave, because yesterday when I was at Lynn's, when I got there, I exactly arrived at 11:11, and then we were sitting talking, and Lynn said to me, "Oh, it's 1:11." I said, "Oh, okay." And then when I got home from her place, it was 10:11. So we had the 11s all day. And my video, as I'm recording now, talking to you, says 010133. So 11 is another 11. So there you go. The 11111 is angel numbers and synchronicities. And it's telling you to be on alert for unexpected shifts in consciousness, blessings, surprises, other epic strangeness that can be either positive or negative, but it's just letting you know, just be on alert. So I'm on alert, right? Yesterday I was on alert. And then today, this beautiful but unusually kind and sweet day. Anyway, this nice man, I blew it because if I sat, I don't think he was trying to race me off sexually, but he just might have felt like talking to a woman, just being friendly and just having a casual conversation. You're never going to meet people again, but sometimes they can be, meaningful and beautiful, and I've been shutting all those down with people too. So anyway, he was a nice enough fellow. He agreed that it was a very strange day today. So I nodded and I smiled. And then he said, which was strange too, so maybe he thinks he knows me or something. He said, "I'll see you around, mate." And I was like, "Yes, see ya." But why is he calling me mate? But then it's a very Aussie thing, A lot of people call each other mate. But maybe he thinks he knows me, Maybe that's why he was sitting nearby waiting for me to engage. Anyway, be that as it may, I got on, I continued driving, and I wanted to stop and get petrol, but I just felt too weak again. I thought, to hell with it. I'll get petrol on the way to the skin doctor tomorrow. So I've got to leave earlier tomorrow to get frickin' petrol. And you know what? Petrol's $2 again. It's insanely expensive. So there's that. Anyway, so I drove straight home. I got home, sat out, ate the rest of my potato and gravy with the spoon this time. God, I was obsessed about that fricking spoon. And ate a piece of the little chicken wing pieces that come with that pack, and finished off the chips. There weren't many left, and I really enjoyed those. So I've had nothing but junk food for 2 days because I had pizza last night and today KFC. Oh, I'll pay for that tomorrow. I already feel like shit, but I'll pay for that tomorrow as well as my skin cutting and splicing. Oh dear goddess. It's just endless. But anyway, be that as it may, I enjoyed my tucker today. I needed it. I just needed it. So I got home, finished that off, and then I thought, well, I'll take Beauregard and Charlie for the little walk around the block that we normally do in the afternoon, but he didn't get a walk yesterday because we were at Lynn's, and the day before he didn't get a walk because I was just too ill. We didn't go for the walk. But I thought it's such a beautiful sunny day. We will walk today if it frickin' kills me. So I gathered up Charlie and her little walking wand that I made for her. Yeah, a little perch, but it's like a little wand. It's cute. And put his leash on. We walk out the front. And I just shut the gate and I was just starting to walk across the road. And there was my neighbour Peter from down the road with his little dog Coco. And little Coco is so in love with me. She's the most gorgeous little dog. So she sees me, and he was just down the bottom of Topaz Street. So he's running behind her, and she's booted off to run to Auntie Tanya. And he's yelling, "Get off the road, Coco!" And I'm going, "Get on the grass, Coco!" And Coco's only focused on seeing me. And of course, I'm worried that she'll get hit by a car, of course, and he worries about that too. Anyway, she came running straight up to me. I gathered her up in my arms, and she showers me with puppy kisses. You know, it was lovely. I love that little dog. And so then he stopped to have a chat. You know, we haven't been talking for a while because I was pissed off with him. Actually, he said the most dreadful things to me. Oh, anyway, never mind. Moving on. So we had a chat anyway, and talked about. He just put his mum in the home and talked about that. Talked about little Coco and other things. Well, we don't need to go into because that's private conversation. And about what's going on in his life, you know. So anyway, and off he went on his merry way with his little princess, his little Coco princess. And I carried on walking around, you know, the block around the neighbourhood. And then I actually stopped at the top of Turquoise Street because there's a lady that lives on the corner of Cav Road and Turquoise. And she's quite a sweet lady, so I saw her sitting on her steps looking, you know, lonely too, you know. So I crossed the road with Bobo and Charlie, and we stopped. We had quite a long chat. She's been very ill too with asthma, very ill. I had to put myself on prednisone. I said maybe I should put myself on prednisone too. I said I thought about it, but I only had 6 tablets. She said that's enough. You just need 2 each day. So I'm thinking now I might actually do that because I've just felt dreadful. I have felt so dreadful. And she said I felt very ill too. So anyway, she said I feel much better now. I said, oh, that's good, you know. Anyway, we had a long chat about that, and admired her garden and waffled on and, you know, walked home. And I got home. It was just starting, you know, the heavy dews falling and the sun setting, and I was actually talking to my friend Jared at that point in time and rung him, and there was this salmon coloured sunset, like the colour of pink salmon. It was really pretty, unusual colour actually. And so I commented on it to Jared, and I told him the story about meeting that nice younger man, and he was so friendly and nice. I said, but I'm just so weird now. So anyway, so there was that. And yeah, I sat here, I thought, oh well, I'll tell my YouTube world and friends about my day. And yes, while telling you, it hit me. It's the calm before the storm, the lull in the horror movie. It's been a lovely day, and I got to see a dentist, and they were very sweet, but I still feel ill. But the love energy and the kindness of strangers and the sweetness from my pets and from little Coco down the road, you know, it's made for a really lovely, sweet day. So I'm making this video to tell you, should I die? trying very hard not to. 57 years I've managed it so far. I had a lovely day today in spite of everything. Tomorrow I'm going to be a bit feeling, miserable because of the cancers being cut out. But they're the last, I think they're the last of the cancers, and that the sister has to come out. So it's another week of, scars and stitches. So yes, I will have to go back in a week's time, because we'll have to take the stitches out, right? Oh, it's endless. But anyway, that will be the end of it, hopefully for quite some time, provided I don't sprout any new awful skin cancers. And I'll be relieved that that's over, because it's just been so awful. I get stitches taken out tomorrow as well, so I just feel, my back looks like a patchwork quilt or a medieval self-flagellating freaking monk. Can you imagine? People used to torture themselves like that for spiritual edification or some kind of sexual gratification. I can't understand that mentality. It's sick, but that's what they used to do. I'm not doing it for that reason. I'm doing it because I don't want to die a horrible, lingering death of skin cancer, like my psychiatrist, young employee's husband, or like my elderly uncle in Germany. It's just horrific. The things we do to stay alive and thrive, right? Anyway, on that note, I'm going to bid you adieu. It's 1:11 and 55 seconds. See the 111 again? I know, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how that keeps happening. So, Latanya, that is me, will be paying close attention, because there's a shift in the cosmos, and even that younger man acknowledged it when I said it's like a madhouse today. He said, yes, I've had a very weird day too. So he was tuned in and he understood it. So there you go. Have a beautiful day, people. Tomorrow's Friday the 17th, and wish me well. I've got through the last 2 cuts and splices, 3, because it was a biopsy as well. Oh, it's endless. I'll be fine. I'll be fine. But I've just got to probably go and see a respiratory specialist and find out how much damage I've accrued with my lungs, with all the swallowing down power dust when I was grinding dust. I did wear a mask, but obviously I've got too much cumulative damage, and that's what the dizziness is about. I'm not getting enough oxygen. So it's a worry, but it's my worry. And life goes on, people. No matter what, with or without me, life will go on. Hold on to your beloveds. Play like that young couple today at the dental hospital. Play and be joyful, no matter what. And I love you all, and I'm grateful and honoured for my few friends that watch my videos and listen to me gabble on for an hour and 14 minutes. Bye on the Space-Time Continuum. Goodbye. Hello, goodbye. I love you.